I was doing research for my Super Mario Bros. 2 prediction video, and I came across this one article that has just stuck with me since then, and I can't shake it. I don't like to say things overtly negative on the channel too much, outside of like a movie review, like just my thoughts of it. But I just got to get this off my chest. Screen Rant, this article right here, it's not good. And it's not because I'm looking forward to Super Mario or anything like that. It's because what's said in it is just so wrong and easily like proven to be wrong. Now, if you know anything about Screen Rant, you are probably like, hey, Seth, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about this. Screen Rant exists to get clicks for ads. And you're right. I should let it go. But I'm not going to. Not right now. Because this claim that Super Mario Bros. 2, the movie, that is in trouble somehow is just crazy. And I want to break down why. And the big problems with this article start at the very beginning, just with the title of it. The Super Mario Bros. Movie 2 is already giving its biggest competitor a major advantage. The article really makes two big claims that I think are both false. First off, that the biggest competition that the Super Mario Bros. Movie has is Sonic the Hedgehog. And then the second is that 3 years is too long. Let's go ahead and tackle that first one first. I have to stop right here for 1 second and say, I like the Sonic the Hedgehog movies. I think they're great. I think it's great that they've been successful. I'm looking forward to the third one. That being said, the article is directly comparing these two movies, and in ways where it's just like does not make any sense. But if that's the game that the article wants to play, let's play that game. And let's just look at the numbers. So the first Sonic the Hedgehog movie came out in February of 2020, before COVID. So it's not shut down. It was able to have a majority of its box office run happen before everything went crazy. So if you look at the worldwide box office of the first Sonic the Hedgehog movie, it comes out to be $319,715,683, which, you know what? It's not bad. It did better than a lot of us were expecting it to do. And the movie itself, a lot better than we were thinking maybe it was going to be as well. We're like, oh, okay, the curse could be broken. Decent video game adaptations are here. Then 2 years later, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 comes out in 2022. And it ends up being the 14th highest grossing movie of its year with a worldwide gross of $405,421,518. It's an improvement. It's made more money than the first one did. This is a good place for the Sonic the Hedgehog movie series to be. It's gaining momentum. But if we're going to compare it to the Super Mario Bros. Movie, it's going to pale in comparison. When Super Mario Bros. Came out last year in 2023, it grossed worldwide $1,362,011,523. That is more than $600 million more than both of the Sonic the Hedgehog movies put together. And this article is saying that Sonic the Hedgehog, that series, is Mario's biggest competitor. And even if we were going to factor in Sonic 3, right? If it made $200 million more than Sonic 2, they would just be finally catching up with Super Mario, right? It is not the 90s anymore, right? You don't have to be like Mario versus Sonic because Sega versus Nintendo. These are movies. You can watch both of them. You don't have to try to justify your purchase of a console by saying your mascot is better than the other person's mascot. You can just watch both. Screen Rant's article talks a lot about momentum. They make it sound like that's the most important thing in the world. You got to have the Knuckles show coming out because it's going to keep momentum going. The article says, given Idris Elba's performance as Knuckles garnered so much acclaim that a TV miniseries based around the character is releasing soon, it further positions the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise to usurp the Super Mario Bros. Movie's popularity. It's an insane thing to say because Mario is not competing with Sonic, right? One's making 3 times as much money as the other at the box office. They're not competing. And they talk about this momentum, and they talk about 3 years being too long for a movie to wait before its sequel comes out. And it's just like we used to have to wait more than 3 years for sequels all the time. Like it was not a rare thing. 3 years between Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back. 3 years between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Even 3 years between the prequel trilogy movies. It wasn't until the recent Disney Star Wars movies that we got them sooner than that. And look what's happened because of that. People are complaining that there's too much Star Wars going on. And now there's these Disney Plus shows that for both Marvel and Star Wars, the biggest thing that people talk about them online with is that there's too many of them. And that is this a good one or is this a bad one? And this is what Screen Rant wants for Mario and for all movies, like to keep that momentum going, that's important. When in reality, burnout on these things and overexposure is the real problem. Make people wait. Make people be excited. Let those things build up. And you might say like, well, I don't know, that's just not how it works anymore. You know, and you can say that. But again, like the person who writes this article, I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong about that. Because if you look at two big examples of like some of the most successful sequels of all time, if we're just talking finances, right, which is what this article is concerned with, there were huge, in their opinion, huge gaps between those movies coming out. Back in 2009, Avatar 1 came out and it grossed $2.9 billion, almost $3 billion. That's a lot of money. So if this person was in charge of what Fox should have been doing, is like, you got to rush out that next one. 3 years is too long to wait for the next one. People are going to forget all about it. But you know what? James Cameron doesn't care about this and is about making good movies, memorable movies that are worth going and experiencing, right? And so he didn't wait 3 years. He didn't wait 4 years. We didn't wait 5 years. We didn't wait 10 years. We waited 13 years. 13 years between Avatar 1 and Avatar 2. It also made over $2 billion. Now you could say, okay, well, it's different, Seth. That movie is a big blockbuster. It's not even in the same realm. Okay, fine. Let's talk about Mario's actual competition, Disney. So Frozen came out in the year 2013. It made $1.3 billion. All right. Very successful. Again, we got to get that next movie out. People are going to forget about it. People are going to forget about Frozen. But here's the thing. They didn't forget about Frozen. And it was 6 years before Frozen 2 came out. And unlike Avatar, Frozen 2 made more money than Frozen 1 did. Both of those movies made over $1 billion. But, you know, we got to keep the momentum going. We got to keep it running. It's ridiculous to me to consider the fact that Mario in the next 3 years will lose people's attention. He's been a super popular character for like 40 years at this point, 4 decades. And to think that, you know, oh, if they don't put out this next Mario movie in the next 3 years or next 2 years, people are going to forget about it. 3 years is too long to wait. The numbers just don't show that to be true. And trying to keep these things constantly in people's vision and just always be showing them and not letting them forget doesn't lead to things becoming more important or more valuable. It does the opposite. Going back again to Marvel and back to Star Wars, I was a huge fan of both of those franchises. I still like them, but I have not been keeping up on stuff because it's homework at this point. There's too much. There's one last part of this article I want to bring up because it's the most crazy thing to me that somebody could say when it says this: Universal Pictures should carry the momentum from the first movie until then via TV shows, video games, etc., so audiences can still engage with the property in the way that builds excitement. Although the Super Mario Bros. Movie 2 will happen, 3 years is just too long of a wait. They're saying they need to put out video games to remind people about Mario. Here's a list of video games either that have come out or are going to come out between these two Mario movies. Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Super Mario RPG, the remake, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Princess Peach Showtime, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, Paper Mario, The Thousand Year Door, and there will be more. Those are just ones that have been announced so far. Guaranteed Mario will be showing up in additional games. What is this person talking about? Are they talking about just in universe? Like we need canon video games? At this point, I'm worked up way too much. I shouldn't be. I know we all say things that are dumb from time to time. And this is just one of those articles that is dumb, and it's made to get clicked, and it's probably made to make people mad, like I am now. But I felt like I needed to say something because it's just like sometimes you read something that's so wrong. It's just like, you've got to point out that people shouldn't be paying attention to this. So here's your daily reminder, right? It should be a daily reminder. Don't just take what people say as fact, right? Don't look at an article like this or look at the scared Bowser and be like, Mario's in trouble. It's not in trouble at all. The movie made over $1 billion last year. And guess what? The next one is probably going to make even more money. And it doesn't matter what Sonic does. It's not going to get in the way. The Minecraft movie is not going to steal Mario's thunder. These things aren't in direct competition with each other unless they're coming out at like the same exact time. Like, they feed each other. Video game movies will help video game movies. And so we should just be hoping that everybody's taking the time to actually make movies that are worth watching. So Illumination, Nintendo, take your time. Don't listen to stuff like this. And as a fan of things, let things take some time. There's a lot of stuff to watch. That's one thing this article gets right. There's a lot of stuff to watch. And so there's plenty to keep you busy until the next thing is coming out that you actually are excited to see.